Hello. Today I'm going to address something that comes up in the forums quite often, how to deal with date and time. Today I'm just going to focus on, the date control and how do I add the time to it, as well as find the difference between two times. Big scenario would be in a application where you'd need to actually track time. So when you're at a customer site, you're here from this time to this time. And you'd want to be able to write back the difference between that time, maybe in minutes. That's most common. So let's jump in and take a look. So as I said, this control is out of box. This one's pretty straightforward. If you're making a form, it's just going to show up if that column is a date time. Even if the column has time associated with them, this control is the only control that will show up. So you actually have to add another drop down, which you just go up here to insert and just toss in a drop down. And you can see, unfortunately, you got to give it the values. So I gave it all the values, and here's an array that we put together. So obviously this makes sense. It's on a 24-hour clock. There we go. Same with the minutes. I decided to just do it in 15-minute increments, so you can actually decide the increments right here. So that's another common question. How can I limit that or round it or something like that? And this is a perfect way to do that. Now, the problem with this is how do I actually pass this along as a true date time when I submit a form? It's more complex than I think it should be. Maybe I'm missing something, but really I don't think so, unfortunately. So how to calculate these together? Let's break it down just a little bit here. Let's just look at the concat that I have going on. And I'm going to break that out. Let me copy that out. We're going to add another label. We're going to paste that in here. Get rid of that extra parenthesis there. You can see, if you look closely, this is our date and our time. The format that it's in, and I'll go back and show you in just a minute, is year, 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 year. So the year's first, month, month, so the month, day, day, hour, hour, minute, minute. You can keep going if you want to, but that's as far as I took it. So if you take a look at what it looks like, I'm just doing a concat, so it smushes it all together. But the year, you can see I'm just taking the text value of the drop down of the date, the selected date, and I can actually format it, which is really cool when I wrap it in this text here. I can format it just by literally putting some quotes in and specifying year, 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 year with just Y, 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 Y. Same with here with the minute, the month rather, and the day. And then down here are the other drop-down values. I was going to just do, drop down dot selected dot value, but it actually gave me a number, which part of the thing that we're trying to do is get everything in the same format so we can do stuff with it. So I had to actually wrap this in text just to make sure the concat has actually text, text, text all the way down. And again, it is just a label here. This is just a text label right now. But how do I actually get it into this format? So let's go back. We looked at the concat. We stopped right here. This is as far as we got is the highlighted section. So all I did was wrap it in value, because remember that was a text. The concat function, I need it all in text. So first thing that I want to do is wrap it in a value. So I'm doing that here, value. Thing that I want to point out though is, so in a value, you can see value, comma, the format of the text. This one's fairly similar to what you saw before, but because we're moving it into a value, You literally just specify what you need it to look like or the format in which it is representing. So if you see here, I have the year, the month, the day, the hour, and the minute. So that takes care of the value piece. Then I wrapped all of that in text because what we essentially did was split it all apart because it's all mushed together up here, all in one string. Back here. So then I have to wrap all of this in text to then get it into this format. So visually it will then make sense, you know, formatted with the dashes, the colon for the hour and the minute. And then wrapping it in a date and time value will just take this text, it'll look at it, as long as you tell it after this comma what format that it's in, which this particular format is en-us, it will actually convert it into a true date time that you can pass to your data source. So you can see here, if I click at the end of it, data type is date time. Cool. So the next thing would be to try to figure out how to calculate the difference between them. So let's say this is the start, this is the end. Let's choose the same date, because let's pretend that we got to a customer site and we only worked for maybe a half hour. So we were there from 6:15 to 6:45. And you can see down here, I have this calculated. That is the difference. So let's take a look at how that's done. Expand this out. And before you get too overwhelmed with this large formula, it's less complex than you think it is. There should be some familiar pieces in here. As you can see here, that is just what we did before. So I copied the formula we had here, all of it, and placed it in here. But I wrapped it in a date diff. So date diff is going to give you the difference in whatever unit that you want between a date and another date. So if you take a look, so this represents the start, and then comma, you can see end. This represents the end. You can see my drop downs are a little different. I did _1, see up here. And then I specify for the differential in units or minutes. I do have a quick diagram. So at first we needed to get this value here into a true date time. So all of these controls mush together into a date time. So this is how we did that over here with this formula. Just the same with the end. It's identical except for we're pointing to these other control dropdowns. And then the 15 here is the difference between these date and times. And really how I did that was with that huge formula that you saw, kind of simplifies it here. Basically all of this, start, comma, end, all of this, and then your units, which we wanted it to return it in minutes. You could do seconds, you could do hours, you could do days, completely up to you. Awesome. Thanks guys for watching.